Scrolls fans, Smogan here with Scrollscast, and we have a game casted off of noHero's replay mod between Hatharo and Rock Jesus. I typically just use traditional spectate mode for my Scrollscast series, but this time I'm going to give it a shot and try this replay mod and see how the game goes. So here we go. Hatharo goes first and has an aging knight right in the middle and passes the turn right over to Rock Jesus. Rock Jesus looks to be playing an aggro growth, well, maybe more of a mid-range growth variant, keying off of the Vengeful Vader. Vader the Wild comes out, so he's going to have a turn 1 Wild into a turn 3 Earthborn Mystic, or turn 2 Earthborn Mystics. That could be a really nice start for him. Hatharo looks at not a whole lot on turn 2, just pothers for the card draw. That hits the Vader the Wild, and the Aging Knight gets in for 2 damage. Turn over to Rock Jesus. Goes up to 3 resources, sacrificing his Vengeful Vader, moves his Vader the Wild back, and drops Earthborn Mystic in front in the bottom row. Turn over to Hatharo. Now he's on the really powerful 3-drop point. I'm pausing the replay here so we can see what his turns are going to look like. He's got the Wing Shield right now, which is obviously an excellent play, especially against Growth. Growth typically has a very difficult time dealing with armor on these units. And then his 4th turn, he'll be able to go into either Ducal Skirmisher or Reloros, both strong plays. And note that this is a higher tier Reloros. That's pretty cool. Or he could push back and try to get an attack, push back the Earthborn Mystic and try to use his Aging Knight to get a surprise kill on this Vader of the Wild. So a lot of plays he can make next turn. This turn he does sacrifice the Reloros and goes up to Wing Shield on 3. So he still has that pushback option or the Ducal Skirmisher option. Rock Jesus sacrifices up, has 4 resources now. His turn is just going to be a Wetland Ranger. And then he'll have Stag Heart for the future, and then a second Stag Heart next turn if he wants off the Earthborn Mystic. Well, I guess it depends on what enchantments are in his deck. A lot of times these mid-range growth builds only run 1 enchantment, just Stag Heart, just so they know exactly what they're going to draw. Hatharo finds another Royal Skirmisher, moves down, and the pushback play isn't going to work here, so he just drops a Ducal Skirmisher behind, defends his units with this Wing Shield, and gets 2 damage on the Wetland Ranger. Rock Jesus finds a Crimson Bull, goes ahead and pulls another Stag Heart out of his deck off of Earthborn Mystic. Could see a Rumble play here, but it wouldn't be super impressive. Probably more likely just going to maybe even double Stag Heart now right on this Wetland Ranger. It's a risky play, but it would allow him to take out this Wing Shield right away. Double Stag Heart would be 2, 4, 5, 6 total damage, which would be just 1 more than the minimum he would need to take out this Wing Shield. So that is the decision he needs to make right here. Gets rid of his Crimson Bull. We see 1 Stag Heart come down. That brings him up to 3. He could actually, and I think this is what he's going to do, never mind, he just played it on the same unit. I was thinking he might play it on a different unit and still get that 5 damage on the Wetland Ranger. But now he has a 6/6 attacking every single turn. But Hatharo has answers. He could push back right now and generate some tremendous card advantage and tempo advantage by taking out this Wetland Ranger. His other choice is just to throw out really just a Wing Shield, which would die right away. That seems like a poor, less good play. So here's that pushback, super handy against the growth enchantment builds. A lot of Order players are running Purify as their enchantment removal, but I actually like pushback as the option because it has that extra utility of taking out, putting the unit back in your hand, or in your opponent's hand. So Rock Jesus, trying to recover from that, does sacrifice up to 5 resources and drops a Great Wolf in front. Both players fighting down on this bottom row. Typically players fight towards the middle, but they're down below this time. Hatharo finds a Pother. That opens up the Earthborn Mystic for attack. And Hatharo moves up and plays a Wing Shield in front. Note the Arbalest Steer in hand, and 3 damage from the Skirmisher takes out the Earthborn Mystic. Good play by Hatharo. Rock Jesus trying to recover. Has 2 Rumbles in hand, Ragged Wolf and Brother the Wolf, and a Striped Fangbear. The Fangbear is excellent against Order, but now's the time for the Brother the Wolf. Great Wolf will be ready to attack next turn. If he can get big Relentless on it, that could be great. Hatharo goes up for 6 resources and plays an Arbalest Steer in the 2nd rank. So now he has really played stuff all over the board, whereas Rock Jesus is just down below here. Aging Knight, he'll have to decide if he wants to move him down and deal some damage to this Brother the Wolf, or if he would rather just move up away from Rock Jesus' unit. So he's choosing right now whether to engage or whether to back away. And his decision seems to be to back away, maintain control of the board. It's going to be difficult for Rock Jesus to go anywhere but this very bottom row, and he needs to get more units out. Rumble comes down. Will it be a lucky Rumble? Yeah, that was pretty good Rumble. So that freed up the Ducal Skirmisher. That'll be very nice. He also goes up to 6 resources, so that'll allow him to drop an Earthborn Mystic. And the Wolf and the Vader are going to gang up on this poor Ducal Skirmisher and take it down. Nicely done by Rock Jesus. Hatharo still can move back to the middle with his Wing Shield in top deck mode a little bit. Finds a Righteous Partisan, which does draw a scroll because it's 4 and 4 right now. Speed in hand as well as a Winged Sorceress. Winged Sorceress is better against the more pure enchantment builds, but still solid against Rock Jesus' deck. Does play it in front of the Arbalisteer, which is now down to 4 countdown. We need to keep an eye on that. Speed can make that Arbalisteer attack at any point now. Clandestine Orchard for Rock Jesus. This is an interesting scroll that I want to talk about a little bit in this deck. So when a creature comes into play, another random creature on the same side, of course that's mirrored between both players, has its countdown decreased by 1. So in a deck like this, I'm sure he's packing Rat King and other token generators like Brother the Wolf. He can really get a lot of surprise attacks off. This is a very strong card that I'm glad to see him playing. Goes up to try another Rumble. Where's everything going to move? 2 things come down. So Brother the Wolf is able to come out. No Clandestine Orchard yet. Instead choosing to Stagheart on... Oh, that was a clever play. So he found the Wing Shield isolated and took advantage of it by playing a Stagheart on a Ragged Wolf and going up to take it down. Very nicely done. Got to take out those Wing Shield whenever you get the chance. Interestingly, Hatharo has Horn of Ages, freezing the opponent's units in place. That's a very strong scroll when used right. Knight Sergeant comes down behind the army, and Horn of Ages is played, so Rock Jesus will not be able to move any of these 5 scrolls on his next turn. Has Clandestine Orchard still, draws an enchantment off the Earthborn Mystic, rather than dealing idle damage, finds another Stagheart, and Kinfolk Veteran comes down, so that's just in time to take out this Wings Sorceress. Unfortunately, and also is able to use a Ragged Wolf to take out the Aging Knight. Very well done. So Rock Jesus has done a good job of establishing a pretty strong board presence. Unfortunately, the Ragged Wolf with Stagheart is at risk right here. Hatharo pitches Effigy of the Queen and plays out a Knight Sergeant. The Arbalisteer is on 1 countdown now, and note that this Knight Sergeant will be triggering the top Knight Sergeant as well, so that's going to be 3 units attacking next turn unless Rock Jesus can do something about it. He does play out the Clandestine Orchard. RNG is in effect here. Who's going to tick down? It is. Oh, he hit it. And Rock Jesus says yay and absolutely. What were the odds of that happening? Let's see here. So this one came into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 in 5 chance of hitting the money Kinfolk Veteran to take out the Arbalisteer. That is a big, big play. Hatharo is shocked. Brother the Wolf comes up as well, summons another Ragged Wolf, buffing the Great Wolf, and triggering the Earthborn Mystic off the Clandestine Orchard, who is able to draw yet another scroll. And the units come in and clear things out a little bit. So now 2 Knight Sergeants are ready to attack. Hatharo has some units and some tricks in hand, Speed and Horn of Ages. Ducal Skirmisher comes down, and that, of course, off of the Clandestine Orchard is enough to trigger the only other unit possible, which is Righteous Partisan. So well done, Hatharo, taking advantage of Rock Jesus' Clandestine Orchard and getting a little bit of vengeance. And do note that he was able to also play this Horn of Ages, freezing these units in place. And the reason that's important right now is that this Great Wolf is not lined up to attack anybody. So Hatharo has made it so the Great Wolf's big relentless attack is only going to deal idle damage, which is something that most Scrolls players at this point in the game or at this stage of the game, round 11, typically don't care very much about, especially since he's very healthy. And of course, Hatharo's units are going to be able to crash through and take out all 3 of the second row units of Rock Jesus. Very nicely done, taking advantage of the Clandestine Orchard just after Rock Jesus was able to take advantage of it so well when the RNG hit for the other Kinfolk Veteran. Rock Jesus sacrifices for scrolls, has 6 resources still. Does finally get out a Striped Fangbear, really strong against Order because it is it triggers off of humans, and everything Order does is human-based. With all sorts of units getting pumped up, and the units come crashing in and are able to deal some idle damage and take out a unit as well. Now Hatharo, looking to recover 3rd Knight Sergeant in hand, has Blessing of Haste and Focus, goes ahead and plays out Blessing of Haste on the Ducal Skirmisher and a Knight Sergeant as well. All sorts of stuff gets counted down. So what happened there, we missed it because the replay mod goes pretty quickly, is the Knight Sergeant came into play, and that triggered one of these two Knight Sergeants down to 1 countdown. So Hatharo saw that and immediately played Blessing of Haste on the unit that was on 1 countdown, which triggers all adjacent knights to have their countdown decrease, triggering all of them. All of them. So using that Clandestine Orchard for himself, Hatharo is able to essentially rally his entire army, as well as play out a 3rd Knight Sergeant, and we're going to see some serious carnage here. It's up to him what he wants to kill. Takes out the Ragged Wolf, takes out the Striped Fangbear, takes out another Ragged Wolf, and an Earthborn Mystic. Tons and tons of damage for Hatharo there. Rock Jesus may regret playing out this Clandestine Orchard. That one unfortunately triggers Vader the Wild, not very useful. This one off the Kinfolk Brave will hit one of these 3 units and hits the Brother of the Wolf, which is just what Rock Jesus wants, because that, in effect, allows him to create another unit, triggering another chance at the Great Wolf, but unfortunately just hit the Kinfolk Brave. So Hatharo rightly says that was bad, but could have been much worse. The key was getting that Great Wolf in back to get a big attack off and take out one of these Knight Sergeants. Instead, one is just reduced to 1 health, still able to get an attack off. Royal Skirmisher comes down, and it does trigger one of the Knight Sergeants. Of course, the Ducal Skirmisher is not a Knight, that's why it didn't count down. But the thing about this Clandestine Orchard with these Knight Sergeants is if even one counts down, it hits all of them. It hits all of them. That might actually be a deck concept right there. Splash a little bit of growth in with a bunch of Knights and have your units count down everything at once, essentially rallying every turn. Hatharo sacrifices for scrolls. Rock Jesus says nerf Orchard, his own scroll, and everything's ready to attack now. It's all crashing in, relentless damage, high hitting damage from the Knight Sergeant. Things are cleared out. Rock Jesus is far behind now. We'll need to find a way to recover. What's going to come down? We see a Kinfolk Brave. That will trigger the Brother of the Wolf. So that's 6 damage coming in. Instead, he goes ahead and plays another Ragged Wolf off of it, which counts down the Brother of the Wolf again. And Kinfolk Brave counts down the other Kinfolk Brave. Things getting crazy with this Clandestine Orchard. Some units are able to get some damage in. Finally, one of the Knight Sergeants falls. But, well, still have some countdown manipulation. Reloros and 2 Knight Sergeants. This is going to get ugly right here, folks. Reloros comes down, triggering both. Roasted Bean Potion comes down, triggering stuff all over the board. Double moves up and does a lot of damage. Takes out everything but the Wolf and the Kinfolk Brave. Wow. Okay. Rock Jesus trying to recover again. Pitches his own Kinfolk Veteran as a Mangy Wolf. So that'll get that Great Wolf going. Doesn't get a countdown because that Orchard is now gone. Crimson Bull is able to come down, and that allows him to take out one of these Knight Sergeants. Is the only benefit he really got off of that. So Hatharo does find his board position dramatically weakened. He's down to 3 units, whereas he had what looked like just a giant unstoppable army for a while. But with Reloros going here, and with all of these spells being played on the Skirmisher, that's a lot of damage, and it triggers everything as well. So the Skirmisher is, of course, being key in this deck, benefiting off of everything that your units do, everything that you do. Rock Jesus sees the writing on the wall, unable to break this line, and does concede the match. Well done by both players, especially Hatharo, taking advantage of his opponent's Clandestine Orchard with the triple Knight Sergeant countdown every turn. What can you do when the Order player is attacking with everything he has every single turn? This has been Smogan with Scrollscast. Please sound off in the comments with what you think about using the replay mod rather than spectate mode. The way I see it is the replay mod allows me to get through a match a little bit faster. There's no wait time between moves. But spectate mode allows more time to analyze and focus on individual plays. So just let me know what you think. This has been Smogan. Thank you for watching.